So the man charged with the murder of Migos rapper Takeoff is out of jail on $1 million bond. Records show Patrick Clark made bond on Wednesday. This comes after Clark's defense team tried to have his bond lowered to $300,000, saying the suspect could not come up with the cash to get out. Initially, Clark's bond was set at $2 million, but Judge Josh Hill agreed to lower it to $1 million. Hill ruled that previous statements made by Clark indicated that he could pay $1 million bail and that there are bail bond companies that would take on that risk. For that reason, the judge denied the request to lower the bond to $300,000, keeping it at $1 million. Prosecutors previously raised concerns that Clark wasn't being upfront about all his financial assets. They said he works as a local DJ and strip club promoter and deals largely in cash, so it's hard to determine how much money he actually has. They also raised concerns over him being a possible flight risk if he is not in custody. Clark has to surrender his passport to the court during a previous appearance. Under his bond conditions, Clark's not allowed to leave his parents' home on the far east side of Houston. He also can't have any contact with Takeoff's family. Now, we're going to keep reading, right? But doesn't that throw you off? Let's go back to that, right? Clark's not allowed to leave his parents' home. Now, unless he bought his parents a home, I don't get that. Because if he can bail himself out for that amount of money, I would assume that he has his own home. Unless they're not letting him stay by himself. But he's a grown man. I'm a little confused with that one. Let's keep reading. Clark is due to appear in court again in March. Kirsnit Carey Ball, known professionally as Takeoff, was shot to death in the early morning hours of November 1st outside a bowling alley in downtown Houston. Police say he was in a crowd of people and an innocent bystander near an argument over a dice game. While Clark maintains his innocence, detectives said he had a gun in one hand and a wine bottle in another when he was caught on camera firing his weapon. Those bullets allegedly struck Takeoff. Fingerprints on that wine bottle are what detectives say helped identify Clark to authorities. Prosecutors claim Clark searched for information about the case online and also searched his name and age in relation to the case. His attorney claims he did not know he was the prime suspect in the rapper's death. Now, whether you were the prime suspect or you weren't the prime suspect, you were there, right? So by you fleeing the scene is an automatic guilty. Not saying that you're guilty of the crime, but you're guilty of being there and not providing information. So if he's not willing to snitch, well, I'm not saying, I agree on people snitching. I'm just saying, normally when people don't snitch, they have to sit in jail. That's just from what I've seen. You know what I mean? Now, what's throwing me off is, this regular Joe, all of a sudden now this guy's a millionaire. He could post $1 million bonds. And you mean to tell me that he has ties with nobody? I'm not trying to point the fingers at anybody, but come on, man. This is starting to seem very weird. It almost seems like Takeoff was intended, and they tried to make it seem like he wasn't. And isn't this the same guy that was caught with his passport and everything, ready to flee the country? But they say that was for other reasons also. And now they just told us that he looked up his name. He looked up the case. This guy knew that eventually they were going to come for him. Now, whether he's the shooter or not, he knows who is. And for him to be released with a high-profile case like this, and for them to just release him like that, I don't know about the system. I'm sorry, man, but this is a murder case, man. You don't have no information. You don't know who's the shooter. We still trying to figure it out. This guy was there with a gun, and he gets released. I guess you could buy your way out of anything nowadays, man. But I mean, please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below. You know, you can agree or disagree with me, but you know, we here. Hold no punches. We in the building.